What's going on, my peoples? It's a late night. Ain't really late, but it's 9:50. It's late enough. It is late enough. How y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing? Man, I'm going to pop this off with three questions that I've been tending to ask a lot of people as of late. I've been asking people if they are their bodies, if they are their thoughts, and if they are their feelings. Do I identify with any of those three things? And if you do, why do you identify with that? You believe that you are those things. Man, what is in you that's working on your behalf? What is in you? What's going on? What is going on? How's it going, everybody? Troll. For the people that's in here, do you guys believe that you are your bodies? Are you your thoughts, or are you your feelings? Do you identify with any of those three things? And have any of you guys ever heard of the 3 degrees of knowledge? Have you guys ever heard of 3 degrees of knowledge? I got a lot of different types of books up there, and back me. So I kind of got them layered out. So at the very, very top, those are all like spiritual books. In the middle, they're like regular, like novelty books. And at the bottom, those are like scientific books, like sort of. Um, so, for example, like one at the bottom that I got is about the universe, or how the body works. And at the like very top is like the Bible and stuff like that, and homilies and spiritual teachings. They're very interesting. Um, the one thing that I constantly think about and trying to put together is the connection between science and religion, and how they tell like a similar story. But one is for like the natural world outside of us, and the other is for the world that's internal, like within us. And what does it all point to? Because they both matter. They both definitely matter. Is he? What's going on? What is going on? It does get lost in a lot of people, but I truly believe that the reason why it gets lost within a lot of people is People, it's a very difficult thing to like unlearn what you've learned, if that makes sense. And we've been conditioned to believe in so many lies, it's like not even funny. That when you start to like unprogram from what we've been taught, it's like you could easily get lost in the sauce. But the best thing to do is have a bird's eye view on life itself and not necessarily take your like be light of yourself, and that's going to make you be light about the world around you. Seriously speaking. So a little small example of that is like the creation story from like scientific standpoint with cosmology. Like it's the Big Bang. And from like a religious standpoint, from like a Judaism, Christianity, Islamic standpoint, is let there be light. Ain't the same thing. Well, for religion, it's like there's an answer for why there is that light in the first place. And for science, it's like, why is that light there to begin with? Religion usually says the earth was made in one day, kind of like the Big Bang Theory, a sudden expansion of the universe. Religion calls reality itself God. Hey, let me get my boys on here. Check this fool out, chat. But yeah, that's like a good point. A sudden expansion of the universe from like a infinitely dense point and then expanded out into space like simultaneously, which is insane to think about. It really, really is insane to think about. But it's also like crazy to think about that without any of those things, us as humans, we can't exist. Without the universe, we can't exist. Without the solar system, we can't exist. Without planet Earth, we can't exist. Without water, we can't exist. Without trees, we can't exist. And the one thing that I constantly think about is that how little control that we have over life. You know, we don't have much control at all. A lot of people think that we are creators of the universe. We are created beings that's creating other things, but we're not the creators of the universe. Without without us being here, the earth would still keep going on and moving along course. But I do believe that we're here for a reason. We're definitely here for a reason. And that's the basis of purpose served is I truly believe that there's purpose behind everything that exists, whether we know it or not. But there's a reason why everything exists. And also, I'm a Christian by faith. And at the end of the day, I think that everything comes from God and everything will return back to God. This is just in the in between process. That's all it is. But people and what they do with their life, it do matter. And it do affect the next person like around them. Whether that's a good or bad thing, but what you do truly matter in this world. And it's a temporary ride. We're not here for a long time. But another crazy thing is we were birthed in eternity. We were birthed in eternity. Have you ever seen the hour of the furnaces? Nah, never seen it. What is that about? Never seen it. It's a documentary propaganda piece about feminism, Marxism, resistance against the U.S. imposed the dictatorship in Argentina. It's very informative and well made. Captain Black Sparrow. Man, do you guys believe that there's purpose in your life, or nah, that don't matter? Do you guys believe that there's a reason why you're here, or that don't matter either? And if so, what would you guys like to do with your lives when it's all said and done? What would you guys want to be known for? Have you ever thought about the reason why you're here and what you're probably meant to do? This is not a religious channel, even though I do talk about God a lot, but I believe that it's based off of a personal relationship rather than belonging to a group that's way more important. I wish I knew I'm 40, no, 41 and still don't know. It's cool. Honestly, it's cool. I thank you for your transparency, to be quite honest. And the fact that you are still breathing and alive gives you a chance to search that out within yourself, not an outside world. Your purpose is really truly meant to be found within you. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. Nice, Greta. The best path to be on is self-discovery. That is absolutely the best path to be on. Trying to figure out who you are in this thing called life. That is the best path. It's so easy nowadays to distract yourself from who you truly are that it can be blinding in a way. But it that also creates a lot of psychological damages, and it damages spirit and it damages your soul, which causes your body to move improperly. So like be mindful about the people around you, about the stuff that you take into your mind, because that truly does affect um you living off your purpose or not. Truly, 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 truly. And you guys probably going to be hearing me say this a lot. Your purpose is really going to be found within you. It is going to be found within you. It's not going to be found. Think you found your purpose outside of you, that thing is temporary and it's not going to last a long time. Whether that be a couple of minutes, whether that be a day, a week, a couple months, or a couple of years, it will fizzle out. It will fizzle out. 110%. That is the truth. I've gotten rid of a lot of toxic people. It really helps 110%. 110%. You'll be surprised. Like a lot of people keep a lot of bad apples around them, knowing that they bad apples, and they seem to can't turn away. Knowing that people are like ultimately ruining their lives and affecting how they feel in such a negative way. It's crazy. It really, really is crazy. Be mindful about your circle. People will lead you astray. Yeah, give me $100. What? But yeah, you guys have a internal indicator that you must follow. You have to follow. You were born here with it, and you will die here with it. But that internal indicator is pointing you towards something way bigger and more grand than what's here on this earth. Because no matter what, everything that's here on this earth is going to deteriorate at some given point. So don't put your hope into anything here at all. That's temporary. The one thing to understand, and in a spiritual sense, is being present is the most important thing to practice. Being present. Yesterday is already, it's already gone, and you ain't never getting that back. And tomorrow hasn't come yet. It don't even exist. So that leaves you with today. That leaves you with this moment. So be present. I felt incredibly loneliness, but then started building my relationship with God. That's all we have. That's truly all we have. And there's 100% a difference between having a relationship and being in a religion with God. Jesus Christ said that the kingdom of heaven is found like within us. That's not an outside place at all. And he also said that our hidden treasures will be found in our heart, spiritually speaking, but physically speaking, your heart is within your body as well. And once you do, and this is like for a rare amount of people, this is not for everybody. Everybody truly don't want to go on that path of living out the light of truth and finding their purpose and actually serving their purpose and serving God. And by you doing that, you will be serving humanity and you will be loving God and you also will be loving your neighbor. But majority of people don't want to go through that sacrifice, speaking, dying to your old self. And that's when the loneliness like truly comes into play. Like that's when it really, really come into play. Once you realize that everything around you has been a lie. I got into a conversation this morning with somebody at the gym talking about that. And it really, really got deep. Because ultimately speaking, from that transition point of your old self and your new self, and between the two, you're going to have to make a choice. And that choice is not going to be external. It's going to be internal. You're going to know for sure, like, this is something that you have to experience for yourself. But you want to know either I can make the decisions the old way that I'm used to doing things, or I can go about going about this whole life completely different. But it's going to involve you letting go of everything that you once knew. Everything. And a lot of people try to hold on to water in the palm of their hands, which is impossible. You can't do that. So you might as well let go. You might as well let go. Which brings me to the question that I asked about 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, when I started kind of, do you guys believe that you're your body? Do you believe that you are your spirit, or I mean your thoughts, or do you believe that you are your feelings? Do you believe that you are any of those three things that I just named? Do you believe that you are your thoughts? Majority of people would say yeah. They will also say that they believe that they are their bodies and that they are their feelings. And this is what I say, this is going to get deep. But you have to realize truly that you're not any of those three things at all. And there's something deep down within you that gets to watch those things, that get to watch those feelings and watch those thoughts. But certain times, those thoughts and those feelings can be so strong and so powerful that it overtakes you and you get confused and you don't know how to distinguish what's you and what's not you, which oftentimes causes us to believe in like the lies that we tell ourselves. And also, we project the lies that we tell ourselves on other people and on other things instead of taking accountability for where we are in our life. How's it going, Hannah? How's your night going? But yeah, and once you start observing those things, once you start observing your thoughts, and once you start observing your feelings, you are going to realize a whole lot about yourself. A whole lot. And not only that, you're going to start realizing a whole lot about the world around you. Like I said, all this stuff, it happens simultaneously. And at first, this can be very overwhelming. It really can be overwhelming, seriously speaking. But you have to and let things sort itself out. And you don't have to do anything in this process, but just stick with it and be alert and be watchful. And most importantly, it's like being watchful over your soul. You have to watch these things take place. Have a good night. Thank you for stopping by, Hannah. But I encourage you guys that's listening and watching to serve your purpose, because you can make a great deal of difference in this world in a positive way by first starting with yourself before you start to try with anybody else. Start with yourself. Seriously speaking. And it may take a while. You don't know how long this process is going to take. But sit with yourself. Seriously. Do what you got to do. Be there for your fam. Be there for your job, any and everywhere. And when you're being called internally to do something, go do it. Go do it. Get to know yourself. Another thing that I say on here all the time is, out of everybody that you know and have known on the face of this planet, you're going to spend the most time with yourself. So you might as well get to know yourself. Another thing that I encourage people to do in order to help them with this, and also to help with their focus and help with their intention and attention, is if you have a hard time focusing on yourself, you have to be in a quiet place. Right before you go to sleep, take 60 seconds to 5 minutes to lock in. Make sure you don't have anything that's going to be overly stimulating, like music, TV, phones, anything. Shut that all out. And for 60 seconds to a minute, take real deep breaths. Relax your whole entire body. Relax it. You're going to also realize how tense you are and how tense you've been all day. And once you really get settled in into your own body, you're going to probably most likely have all of these crazy thoughts and all of these crazy feelings that's been repressed all day, probably from thoughts from 20 years ago or 15 years ago or a couple of months ago that randomly just pop up, all of that crazy feelings, and just sit there and watch those things. Don't try to suppress it. Don't try to fight it to go away and think about something else. Just let it do its thing and watch it. And do that for 60 seconds to 1 minute, right before you go to sleep and right when you wake up. And the more you keep doing this, the more you're going to be able to get good at this in your waking life and day-to-day activities. And that's going to naturally build self-awareness. You're naturally going to develop discernment, and you're naturally going to build up understanding for yourself and the world around you and why you respond in certain ways around certain people and how they're triggering you. And ultimately, you're going to realize that a lot of these things are stemming from yourself. If you're real honest with yourself, it's not, other people aren't making you feel the way that you feel. That's you relinquishing your power and giving that to other people. But that power is in you that you release and let go. So by taking them 60 seconds to 5 minutes right before you go to sleep and right when you wake up, that can make a great deal of difference. That can make a great deal of difference. Seriously. Seriously, people. There's an idea that I've been working on. And this idea is stemming from the natural world that we live in outside of us in our personal world. So the natural world is anything that's not affected pretty much by humankind. That even if we wasn't here, like a lot of these things would be present, such as some of the things that I named: water, trees, clouds, other animals, and our personal world, something that's individual to us, like our feelings, thoughts, and our dreams. And what is that connecting piece in between? That's And for me, it's a word that I use for that called the monad, which is by definition means a single unit, because I believe that everything, when you trace every single thing back, it boils down to a single unit, down to a monad. That's why I've been, I guess, these ideas that I've been developing high key for like the last like 5 years. The last 5 years. Because everything is interconnected and everything is interwoven within each other. Heaven and earth is not two separate things. They're also not one and the same. Paradoxically, and I believe that this earth is of spiritual nature, but in its physical form, this is the lowest form of existence that we're experiencing right now. And there's higher forms of existence that's out there. And once you come to a that's where our purpose are. And the spiritual realm is always ever present. It's about to get real deep, but the spiritual realm is like ever present. And it feels as though the spiritual realm don't know anything about the past or the future. It's just now. And that's why I say it's important for us to be present every single day and let tomorrow worry about itself. But be present. That's all you got. You don't know if you got tomorrow. You don't know if you got next week. You don't know if you got next month. And you don't know if you got next year. That's truly a mystery. But you know for sure that you here now. Ain't no doubt on that. You here. You are here. So it makes no sense to be stressing about, tomorrow, how much money you need to make, um, where your next meal is going to be coming from, all of that. Don't worry about any of that. It will handle itself if you have faith. If you truly have faith. And a lot of people, they struggle with that. They struggle with understanding that everything is already said and done and everything is already accounted for. And you really don't have to do anything. That don't mean procrastinate. That don't mean be lazy and let life just take its course. But do things in the moment when you know you're supposed to do them. And don't wait to do them. Just simply do them. Don't wait. And now, with a lot of things that we've come to experience in this modern day and age, it's so hard for us to be present. So, an example of this is the way that we use social media. It's kind of wild. You can get lost in a doom scrolling for 2 or 3 hours and then you snap out of it and be like, where did the time go? I just watch other people live their fake lives. And now I feel bad about the life that I'm living, looking around and being like, dang, my life kind of sucked compared to everybody else that I just watched. And it's so subconscious. You don't directly think these things, it's deep down within you. Because, like, getting brainwashed, our algorithms is starting to become nuts. And be careful with that as well. That's another thing to be careful about because your algorithm will lie to you. I'm probably randomly coming up on other people's algorithms. I'm saying that. Man. But yeah. Because that's another thing that I'm starting to notice, to be quite honest, is that a lot of people get their opinions off of social media. And it's not stuff that they necessarily believe. It's just things that they kind of agree with that somebody else is saying without doing their own research on how they came about of getting to that point for themselves. Honestly speaking. Life is so deep, people. It's so deep. It is so deep. But don't get lost in the sauce. I just uploaded a video right before I started doing this live on the heroes archetype and going into the unknown world. And coming out of that unknown world and returning back to the known world with your treasure, with your gift that was given to you, and bringing that back to the people. And right now, it's important that we go through that process of that monomyth within ourselves because it transforms you in the process of you going into the world that you've never been before to unlock hidden gifts that's deep down inside of you and how much you got to go through in order to like get to that point. Honestly speaking, you got to go through a lot. You have to go through a lot. And it's a lot of things that you can't possibly plan out once you do end up going on that journey of finding those gifts deep down within you. There's a lot of places that you would never thought that you'll end up being, and relationships and people that you'll never thought you end up meeting on going on that journey, seriously speaking. That's going to transform you and like change you. And hopefully for the better. Hopefully it's for the better. And certain points it will get discouraging. Certain points you're going to feel like you want to quit and give in. But all the times when you get to those points and you at that breaking point, you got to keep going. You got to get over the hump. You have to get over the hump. Because that, when you get to those points, that's all the times when you're the closest. You're the closest to your dreams and aspirations for real. And the struggle is a good thing. It really, really is. Come back with that gift. Come back with that gift. And that's ultimately you at the same time shining your light into the darkness. For real. Serving your purpose. And even in those three words in itself, serving your purpose, your service is going to be something that the world see. And your purpose is going to be something that the world don't see because it's internal. One is external, the other is internal. It's within you. It's the reason why you do what you do. It's the reason why you exist and why you came here in the first place. And like I said, my personal beliefs is that everything here, knowing and unknowingly, serves a purpose. There's a reason behind existence in itself. I do not believe that this is an accident. I do believe that this is well orchestrated on a scale that's unfathomable. It's beyond anything that I could possibly think of. But the fact that we are on a rocket ship going through space around a fireball, and that fireball is going around something else, and it's so smooth, and it's going through free space, that's insane. That's what makes me believe that there's a creator of all things, seen and unseen. And my goal personally is to align my will with that and align my will to Christ. That's the end goal. That's the everyday goal. That is the everyday goal. How's it going? How is it going? I hope everybody having a blessed night. I hope everybody having a chill night. For real. I'm normally like not doing lives this late. How you doing? I am doing well. I'm doing well. I really can't complain about anything right now. Why do you eat crayons? What? Certain people, I just don't get. That's so random. Are you talking about God too? Yeah, I am. If that's not what you're here for, I don't think you want to stay and listen for this. I think you want to have to find somewhere else. But if it is, you're welcome to stay. You're welcome to stay. Either or, I can't control what anybody think or do, to be quite honest. Do you think Jesus could dunk? I don't even think about stuff like that. Why would I think about something like that? Would that matter if Jesus could dunk or not? Would that even matter? Would that even matter? But yeah, on this platform, it's kind of crazy. There's a lot of things that I wouldn't have talked about if this was like last year or 2 years ago. The one thing that I wouldn't have talked about is honestly God. I would have never brought God into what I'm doing if this was like 2 years ago. If yes, he's cool. If not, it's like he chill. What? What in the world? Yeah. No, he cool. If not, he kind of chill. He all right. He all right. But yeah, um, how do you know that God exists, and what do you think about the curse of Ham? Man, um, I can answer this in this sort of way. There's a lot of things that's unseen that's happening within us, and there's a lot of things that's happening simultaneously outside of us. And I believe that everything that is happening right now is no sort of accident whatsoever. Whatsoever. We as human beings may make mistakes, but that's off our own free will and our own doing. But it seems like a lot of things, not a lot of things, it seems like almost everything is perfectly made for us to even come about and be who and what we are. It's insane how life just comes to be. And it don't seem like it's an accident due to the fact that it it's self-sustaining in a way. Life is incredible. And I believe that life also has a creator. I don't think that life creates itself. And something as simple as that makes me believe that God exists. And when you say curse of Ham, what do you mean specifically by the curse of Ham? What do you mean by that? The curse of Ham. But it genuinely, it's like all of this stuff is well orchestrated. It really is well orchestrated. This is the problem that majority of people now have a hard time believing. I can't say majority of people because I don't know majority of people, but a decent amount of people have a hard time believing that God is real based off of things that's seen and that can be measured and that can be labeled. And if it's not in a realm of that, how can you know that thing actually exists or how can you know that thing is actually real? Which are valid questions and valid points. But the one thing that I point to that is unseen and just as real as this physical world itself is you can't label or measure your dreams. You can't label or measure your thoughts. And you can't label or measure your feelings. And you can't say those things aren't real because you don't physically see them and you can't physically touch them. They're real. Your thoughts and feelings are real. And even with that being said, they're also very, very deceptive, even though they're real. Because a lot of our thoughts are pretty evil, and a lot of us about who we are. A lot of people get bombarded with negative thought patterns that make them feel less of themselves. And they walk around with this heaviness from their thoughts and their feelings every single day that make them look at the world in doom and gloom. And if you got a bunch of individuals walking around like that, the one thing about our thoughts and our feelings, you're going to live those patterns out that's internally going on. And they're externally going to come out. They're going to come out. That's why we're seeing so many rises of all of this craziness that's happening in the world with mass and people self-deleting because of what the hell are they going through inside. People are going through hell internally and they're walking around with it. And certain people are smiling your face like everything is fine, but inside there's something raging in them and they're going through so much turmoil. So much turmoil. And you have to separate yourself from those things and watch them. Just simply watch them. Watch your thoughts and watch your feelings. Watch those patterns that's going on internally. And don't try to dictate any of those things because you don't got no control over any of those things, no matter how hard you try. But something will work on your behalf to get rid of those things. But the more you fight to keep them, the more you fight to stay angry, the more you chase feelings of sadness and happiness, all of that is going to grow within you. And the hell is only going to get worse. And ultimately, people are looking for wholeness instead of happiness. People are looking for peace of mind instead of materialistic things. Honestly, but we are blinded to that end goal of peace of mind and living out the truth. collectively. But if you got a decent amount of individuals that's living that thing, it starts to grow. And ultimately speaking, by you serving your purpose, you emanating your light into the world. You emanating your light into the world. And that's what I encourage people to do, is to see out their purpose that's within them, find that hidden treasure within their heart. And then once you come to possess that, you're going to have to serve that hidden treasure that's within you. And by you serving that treasure, if it's real, then you will be shedding light into the world and helping out your neighbor. Are you a Jesus freak? What do you mean by that? Tell me what you mean by that. What do you mean? But yeah, shed your light into the world. Shed it out. And the light is to be found within you. It will be found within you. Truly speaking, people, you quote the Bible every day. That's amazing. And how do you know I quote the Bible every day? Running man at 9,200. How do you know that? How do you know that? But all joking aside, I really do. I find myself quoting the Bible a lot. It's so much truth in it. It really is. Well, you look like a born again ex-convict. That's hilarious. But yeah, man. It's so much truth in it. It is so much truth in it. Man, a simple rule, for example, that you don't see a lot of is people loving their neighbors as they love themselves. That little simple truth. And also, going back to, I guess, quoting the Bible every day, it's important, more important than throwing quotes out there. It's way more important to live the truth instead of talking about it all the time. It's way more important to live that out with like your daily actions than to constantly talk about it. Praxis. Praxis. Righteous activity. You don't find it weird we're all born in the right religion? Um, what do you mean by that? If you don't mind me asking. Can you explain that to me? Because it's like kind of funny. That word religion leaves a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. A lot of people, including myself, like that word religion is just it's weird. It's a weird word. Definitely is weird. But yeah, what do you mean by you don't find it weird? We're all born in the right religion. Because even like in the Bible, it's just it's insane that a lot of like for example, the monotheistic religions of Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, they all stemmed from one person. And that one person being Abraham, which is insane. Which also goes to show that it's more important to have a relationship with God than religion itself. Because what religion was he a part of? You know? What religion was he a part of? And it's more important where your heart posture is at rather than belonging to a certain group of people. But where your heart is at, that's more important. Because going back to, what you said, if you're still in here, is quoting the Bible every day, is that you got a lot of fake Christians that quote the Bible every day and holier than thou people, but are so far removed from the words that they speak. So that's why it's way more important to live the words that you know instead of living the words that you speak. Even though I do speak on the Bible a lot, but it's more important to live it rather than talk about it. It's more important to align yourself to the will of God than to talk about aligning yourself to the will of God. That book right there, that's right above me, the ascetic homilies of Saint Isaac the Syrian, breaks down and homily 52, something that's the homily 52 is one that I quote the most, the most out of all of those homilies. I believe it's 77, but about the 3 degrees of knowledge, and that being the body, the soul, and the spirit. A majority of people live through the knowledge of the body. That's it. When it's higher degrees than that, and the higher degrees that you go, the more invisible things get. The more invisible things get. But when you align your spirit to the will of God, these things will get revealed to you. And you can quote words all day, all day. But if you're not aligning your soul, which is of the 2nd degree of knowledge, to the spirit, which is the 3rd and highest degree of knowledge, you will be blinded to a lot of things of what's going on. Because the nature of this world moves in such a spiritual way. It really does. And once you start aligning internally to the spirit of how things work and how things move, you will you will see all of these things as clear as day. You will see it. You will see it. Trust and believe you will see it. And then after that, it truly is hard to go back to seeing things how you once what like seen them. A great story with this, I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, is the allegory of the cave with Socrates talking to Plato's brother about people being stuck to a chain wall or chained to a wall. And in front of them, there's shadow projections on the wall. And the people that's chained to the wall and stuff like that, they're looking at these shadow projections as like that's the real thing. And again, caught on the shadows. And behind them is people that's walking in the line, that's holding objects, that's getting projected on the wall from this false fire that's in the cave. Everybody's in the cave. They're in the cave, right? So on the wall, they're seeing birds, they're seeing flowers, they're seeing vases, they're seeing all different types of stuff, but even the things that's being held up, the real thing itself, either. It's not the real thing itself. And then you got one individual that's unshackled and decides that they're about to leave up out of the cave and climb up out of the cave, right? And when they're leaving up out of the cave and they're taking that narrow path of climbing out, they experience their first blindness of seeing the true light for what it is, and that's being the sun. That being the sun. See what we got here. This message has been known for centuries, and Hindus say the same. What makes your God the truth? You say you love your neighbor even if he is LBGTQA, pagan, Jew, or Muslim. So far, that wasn't everybody. But in the same breath, you should love anybody no matter what walk they come from. That's the fact of the matter. And by you looking at somebody because of their religion and their sexual preferences and stuff like that, that's you judging them. And ultimately, you don't even know how people got to those points to begin with. You don't. But you shouldn't be treating them any different from anybody else. And that naturally does change people over time. That really do. That genuinely do. Because, like, for example, I'm cool with Muslims, pagans, atheists, and I don't treat them a certain type of way because of where my beliefs stand. I have to carry myself in a where my beliefs stand. And at the end of the day, the truth is still a truth, and a lie is still a lie. They're not the same thing. They're not the same thing. But when, for those of you that just so happen to unshackle yourselves from the wall and you're climbing out the cave and you're making your way towards the light, understand that blindness is going to occur from being in darkness. Yahweh is our Father. Keep your love and faith in Him. Ignore demonic trolls. That's kind of crazy. Um, we've been getting some trolls tonight, but that comment above, I understand, like that. Like a lot of people do struggle with stuff like that, but at the same time, it shouldn't move you off your square. The one thing that's important to notice is the Holy One himself surrounding himself in the midst of darkness, which holy people wouldn't even be around the people that he was around. But I also tell you guys another truth is that no matter what, the light of truth overpowers the darkness. That's just the way it go. It can't overcome, the darkness can't overcome the light. It's impossible. This is why I encourage you guys to walk in the light of truth. And to walk in it is a behavior pattern and it's not just simply just words. Going back to the person that said you quote the Bible every day. Man, you got to walk it. You have to walk it. And that book, next to the ascetic homilies, there's also something that was said in that regard. And one of the things that was said in that little yellow book right there is just that faith and hope gotta be the things that lead your feet. And the head of all of that is love. Faith, hope, and love. And we first hear that from St. Paul. And like I said, don't make this a religious thing. You have to understand these things deep down within yourself. You have to understand it deep down within yourself. Because there's a lot of things that's happening that's more unseen than you guys know. Way more unseen than the things that you can see with your physical eyes. And by you guys opening your souls up to your spirit, you will get shown these things if you're truthful and honest in that regard. Because first and foremost, before you recognize it in other people, places, and situations, you're going to recognize this within yourself. That's the very first place that it will start. It will start within you. For sure. For sure. That's why, yet again, this is probably like the 100th time I said this so far tonight. But by you recognize this within yourself, you will definitely find your purpose there. You will never ever find your purpose outside of yourself. It won't happen. It genuinely won't happen. And I encourage you guys, like, for real, to like go seek out your purpose and live it out, because it's going to transform your life in the best way possible. Truly, it will change your life. There's going to be something guiding you to that point. For you guys to even come here, and if you heard this, you in some sort of way are looking for your purpose. If you haven't found it yet, if you're there, kudos to you. Kudos to you. But live it out. Live out your purpose. Live it out. And go through everything that you have to go through, no matter what it is, to bring that light out into the darkness. Because like I just said, the darkness can't overpower the light. It is what it is. And your light, your awareness to your thoughts, your light and your awareness to your feelings, that is who you truly are. We only have one purpose. What is that purpose? It's definitely to serve God. It didn't serve others. But I want to hear this. And I thank everybody for being on. Seriously. We are not trolls. We're questioning the dissonances. We question if his faith is more related to New Age belief as the brotherhood that he's preaching toward the difference was it put in place the last centuries to worship our Father and Creator. The rest will happen with his guidance. Um yeah. So um where do you believe the dissonance comes into play? And also, um, that is a part of the two greatest commandments that was given to us. And that's the main primary one that's said. That is the main primary one. Love the Lord your God. But damn. And that's not necessarily like calling you specifically a troll. There was somebody in here earlier that if you go earlier on in the chat, you're gonna see some trolling. There we go. Yep, lawyer girl. Yep. And I truly believe that the world is in a state that it is from not honoring those two things. I truly believe that. Truly. But in the same breath, I shouldn't be judging based off of what No Knock said. Just judging anybody based off of like physical appearances and stuff like that. And that's the thing. I don't necessarily believe that we are in the end times right now. I truly don't. And the only reason why I say that is because there's a lot of gassing going on. There really is. And I believe in the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 24, is when Jesus was talking about the rumors of all of these things happening, is just that don't fall for that. Do not fall for that. You know, go back and read the first five books and all that's up. People need to go back and read Isaiah. Noise. Noise. And we shouldn't be at all worried about the things that's happening outside of us, but it's about cleaning our house up within us. Cleaning our house up within us. And count this all joy. All of it. All of it, all of it, all of it. Don't worry. Do not worry, people. But it's like kind of crazy, right? I was kind of discussing this briefly not too long ago, but as of like last year, 2 years ago, I was trying to keep my face separate from what I was doing with this brand Purpose Served. And within the last couple of months, it's something in me that just is like, can't do that anymore. Can't do it. I was in the occult for 27 years, saying rewarded me with breast cancer. Yahweh healed me and gathered me back to him. He's everything to me. Wow, that's a blessing. Wow, that's a blessing. Man, that is insane. What, if you don't mind me asking, what made you turn around? Gotta clap for that. Thank God. Thank God. That's what's up. But yeah, what made you turn around? I had to be in the same journey for you. The same testimony. Had to be crazy. Because the majority of people, they realize when it's too late. They realize when it's too late. Satan will use you, give you things, and then try to take you out. I had enough and called out to my Savior. Hear my cries and restore me. It's pretty amazing. 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 That is. That literally is. It is kind of crazy because that speaks towards you know, instant gratification versus delayed gratification. And I think that even today in this society that we living in, is people are struggling with that like a lot. I went last week and my covered with the Hebrew text for righteousness. Man, fully committed. Fully committed. That is what's up. Man. Isaiah 43, verse 1, tatted. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. What is your favorite book? Out of all 66, what is your favorite? See, that's you mentioned the book of Isaiah, which is an incredible one. That is an incredible one. I love the book of Isaiah, First Peter, Psalms, Proverbs, Genesis, and Matthew. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. Yeah, like, that's dope. That is dope. Like, for me, I try to read a psalm in the morning and end with a proverb at night. That's amazing. That is amazing. It's insane. There was something that um I read not too long ago about the meaning of words. I left social media, got rid of my TVs, and gave it all to the Father. That's something that majority of people is not willing to do. That right there, that's dedication. Since you've done that, that your eyes really have opened up to things that's going on within you and outside of you, and how easily controlled and manipulated people are. Mm. Isaiah 43, verse 1 reads, For now, for not, fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name, you are mine. That one is a powerful one. That one is a powerful one. Man, man. Well, that's good. Keep keep walking the walk. Sometimes it is not easy. It is not easy whatsoever. But when you truly let go and you truly like surrender, which is probably something that you have experienced already, is that you realize that everything is handled and taken care of already. You just got to move accordingly. You just simply got to move accordingly, no matter what, to experience the ages of all ages, the end goal. See that crown glory. I did an experience experiment with Facebook. I posted a pic of me. It got hundreds of loves and likes. I posted a scripture and it got 3 likes. The next day I deactivated and deleted it. Isn't that, isn't that amazing? It's really revealing. It really is revealing. Like seriously, God honest truth. And at the same time, that's why I got into like the mode of like posting more and everything, because there was a stretch where I did delete my social media, but now I just post here and there, and I got to get it off because it just, man, it feels like I'm just consuming darkness if I'm on it for more than like 30 seconds. Praise the Father. Yes. Once you start to really focus on Him, He starts moving in your life. It like crazy. It's actually so mind like boggling. It's really, really insane. I got into a crazy conversation with a friend of mine. This was last Thursday. He found himself in a pickle when he found himself in a gym, worrying about his job, not making enough money, not being able to pay rent, trying to figure out babysitter to watch his kids, all of this stuff. And I remember telling him that you gotta have faith. I can't tell you exactly what to do about your situation, but whatever you're thinking and whatever you're feeling, you have to let it go, and you have to surrender the will of God. And that got into a whole deeper conversation of ultimately him like, what does that mean? I gotta procrastinate? And it's like, no, I don't have to procrastinate. But if you truly surrender to the will of God and have faith that you're gonna be okay. And the one thing that I brought up is something I've been telling people a lot is let tomorrow be anxious and worry about itself. and you and just be here in the moment. Sufficient is today is its own trouble. And ultimately speaking, when Christ said on the Sermon on the Mount, you can't worship God and you can't worship money. You're either going to love one or hate the other. So where's your faith at? You keep worrying about these bills and you keep stressing about this money and all of this, which a lot of people do. Understand why. Totally, totally understandable. But you got to let all of those things go because ultimately it's not in control at all. You got to let it all go. And the most miraculous thing happened. The most miraculous thing happened. So I got a call back from him 3 or 4 days later, right? And he said, yo, down. I just started meeting my hours at work and all of that, and all of this stuff is just so happened to work out. And I said, first off, God was putting you to the test, first and foremost. Second off, you've now not only like it's beyond words now, you've come to experience it for yourself. And I told him that's the most important thing. You got to experience it for yourself. And all that meant from these last 3 or 4 days, from when the last time I talked to you, you truly put your faith in God and you let go. Now you got to let go even more. You got to let go even more. All of this money and material things, people know you can't take this with you into the life of all lives, into the ages of all ages. You can't. They stay here and get corrupted. So, like, you have to die to yourself. And this, I can go deep. Hold on. I'm in the second year of uni. I'm taking honors criminology and law and society. Imagine 4 years ago, I was 90 pounds, almost dead. He really saved me. Man, you're on your way. That is what I call serving your purpose. And you letting God, like, guide you throughout the way. That's so beautiful. That's amazing. I wish you the best, seriously, on your journey. And it sounds like you're involving yourself into something that's going to like help other people along the way and not just yourself. I just you're speaking all facts. I appreciate that. Thank you. His will be done. Amen. On earth as it is in heaven. That's the law. That is law. Insane. It's insane to compare those words from the Father and the Son. The Father, when he was done within 6 days of creation, it is done. And the work of Christ on the cross, when he said it is finished and released his spirit, man, so much synchronicities, these patterns. It's amazing. It is actually amazing. Man, yeah, he rested and we must rest every Sabbath day. Must rest every Sabbath day. Man, so do you try not to do anything at all on Saturdays? Best day of my week. That's amazing. That is amazing. Yeah. Um it's kind of crazy. A lot of things is so contrary to this physical world, to our spiritual nature, and we're supposed to be living life. But the craziest thing is that we can still live a spiritual life in this world. Yes, from sundown Friday to sundown Saturday. I rest and learn the word. It's kind of crazy. You know what? I think that this would be a good time to read a passage from the ascetic homily, number 2. And it's crazy. I say this is probably like the third time on live that I've read this homily, which is like this whole entire book is like a tough read, but I think that this would be very, very helpful to people that's along the way and ultimately that's trying to die to this world and be alive to God and his son. So let's get it. Let's get the reading. Let's get the reading. Be patient with me, folks, while I sit here and try to find this. Be patient with me. Wow. I brought up Praxis on here like earlier. I'm not even going to read that. I'm just going to read straight to what I was going to read. So bear with me here, right? And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Feel free to throw them in the chat. All right. And not only that, let me know what your thoughts are. So this homily number 2 is talking about the world and talking about the passions. So this is about to get a little deep. So divine vision is the perception of divine mysteries which are hidden in things and causes. Whenever you hear of withdrawal or abandonment of the world or of being pure from the world, then first you must learn and understand the term world. I'm doing well. How's it going? Not as common, unlearned men do, but in its spiritual senses, and how many different things this name comprises. Then you will be able to know your soul, how distant she is from the world, and how great an intermingling she has with the world. World is a collective noun which is applied to the so-called passions. But if a man does not know first what the world is, he would never come to know how many of his members he is distant from the world and how many he is bound to it. Many are the persons that with 2 or 3 members have parted from the world and curbed themselves with respect to these and suppose themselves to be strangers to the world and their way of life. This, however, is because they neither understand nor prudently see that which 2 of their members they have died to the world, while their remaining members live within the body of the world. So ultimately speaking, the members is talking about ultimately your senses. Nice. I would love to hear that book recommendation. For which cause they have not even been able to perceive so much as their passions. And since they have no awareness of them, neither have they made an effort to heal them. So a lot of people are blinded to the passions. So they don't know where their soul sickness is ultimately coming from in order to heal it, ultimately speaking. So now we're about to get into actually what the passions are. By contemplative examination, the world is also called the aggregate of collective noun, which is applied to separate passions. When we wish to give a collective name to the passions, we call them world. And when we wish to designate them specifically, according to their names, we call them the passions. The passions are of the world's onward flow. And where the passions cease, the world's onward flow stands still. These are the passions. Listen to this closely. These are the passions. The passions is love of wealth, gathering objects of any kind, bodily pleasure, from which comes the passion of carnal intercourse, love of esteem, from which springs forth envy, the wielding of power, pride in the trappings of authority, stateliness, pomposity, human glory, which is the cause of resentment and fear for the body. Wherever these have halted in their course, there, in part to the extent that the passions are inactive, the world fails from its constitution and remains inactive. Thus, it was with each of the saints that while they lived, they were dead. So for living in the body, they lived not according to the flesh. Examine in which of these passions you are alive, and then you will know in how many parts you are alive to the world, and in how many you are dead to them. So this is like insane. Bodily pleasure, which comes from the passions of carnal intercourse, love of wealth, gathering objects of any kind, love of esteem, from which springs forth envy, the wielding of power, pride and the trappings of authority, stateliness and pomposity, all of these things that have you bound to this world, all of them. They ultimately are the passions that keep you blinded from God and walking in the light of the truth, which his son showed us an example of how to live. That sounds like Stoic philosophy. I had to write many papers on the passions. It's kind of crazy. So just giving the background, like on this, the ascetic homilies of Saint Isaac the Syrian. This was a Christian monk from I believe, the 6th century. And what fascinates me about these monks is that they gave everything up, and went into the wilderness to be closer to God. And by them depriving themselves of external things and only relying on the necessities to be provided to them by God, so many miracles happen to these people. And when I mention the 3 degrees of knowledge, it comes from this book and the 52nd homily, and how important it is to walk in the light of Christ because of where that light ultimately leads to, which is the Father of all creation, of all creation. And it's really, really important to recognize that it's very hard to die to the passions, like seriously, and ultimately to become dispassionate. That's beautiful. I want to go to the wilderness. I've had enough of this world. I feel that. But it's insane. We got to think about like people like Elijah, John the Baptist, and even the Jesus when he got his true calling. After he was baptized and the Holy Spirit fell on him, the very first thing that he did, he sought solitude and went into the wilderness. Went straight into the wilderness. And his when his bodily needs started really getting to him, 40 days and 40 nights. When his body was at its most vulnerable, that's when the antagonist came to try to do his work. And this is why, yet again, this becomes relevant to what was put into the chat earlier about the Bible a lot. While he was being tempted, the antagonist quoted the Bible to him. So they was playing word for word with each other. No one knows God's return date. This is another thing that I brought up from the Gospel of St. Matthew. If you look at chapter 24, about no one not knowing, and that you always should just simply stay ready every single day for that. I want to do a 40-day fast like our Messiah, but my family said I'll die and that I'm crazy for suggesting it. Listen to your family, but also slowly but surely prepare yourself for that point as well. Slowly but surely prepare yourself and keep going on your path. Keep going on your way. Everyone carries return date of God on their 2 hands, 10 fingers, like tablets, commandments, or after our 40 days, nights, 41st day is 2, second, 10, aka water bearer man carrying a jug of water wearing white linen. I did a 10-day fast last December. Nice. I'm gonna just say your name short, Pharaoh man. Thank you for being on this live. Thank you for everybody that's being on this live. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, what makes you think that everybody carries that date on the palm of their hands? I'm going for 20 this December, dedicated to the cause. That's what's up. That's what's up. That is what's up. This is actually kind of crazy. I'm really thinking about it now. I think this is the longest live that I've ever done. I don't ever remember being on live this long. Only the holy feast days we are commanded to observe. Do you follow a lot of the Old Testament stuff that was given? by Moses in the wilderness? Who did Jacob wrestle? Daniel see raise hands, met disciples before Passover, followed Jesus after arrest, and Mary saw in Jesus' tomb. Yeah, that's where I went back to. Jacob wrestled with the angel of the Lord. Then you see raised hands, met disciples before Passover, followed Jesus after arrest, and Mary saw in Jesus' tomb. Are you referring to the angel of the Lord? You need that book, the scriptures. TS 2009. Yeah, both of them are very, very important. Men and women clothed hovering river carrying a jug of water refers to Aquarius. First to the constellation Aquarius. I recently ordered it and it's beautiful. All names restored. Interesting stuff. People, interesting stuff. And what do you, Pharaoh, what do you think all of that means? Bible, a book of prophecy, thus a calendar clock with time being secret teachings within word. God is Yahweh, Jesus, Yahshua. Amazing. Amazing. One and the same. God the Father and God and the Son. Now, do you believe that those teachings are written in the stars? That's outside, or you think that those teachings and timing is internal in the spirit? Which one do you think? Which one do you think? Because it's very, very important to not get too hung up on the signs that we're going to find outside of us. I felt like it's written on our hearts because that's where it's at. That truly is where it's at. When Jesus said there will be 5 in one house, 3 against 2, 2 against 3, refers to 1971 eclipse, 2 lunar and 3 solar, which occurred 5,000 years prior. Stay alive, please. I'm going to grab my laundry. I'm not going to go anywhere. I won't go anywhere. Yeah, interesting conversation. Interesting conversation. So, do you believe that the signs is written in the stars in the heavens, or do you believe that it's within us? Because I get what you're saying. That's what's up. Got 2 awesome dogs. That's what's up. That is what's up. Man, hold on. Because ultimately speaking, there are many things that you can look at as signs in the stars, but ultimately speaking, that can be very deceptive and very misleading. God, why are you so concerned with Son of Man that you rise every morning testing him throughout the day? Was 2018 through 2019 when Aquarius last constellation before daybreak. And what does this mean to you? Amos and Luke referred to this star truth. Because I get it. I get it. Oh, them dogs eating good. Steak dinner, they eating good. But by following these constellations and by following these stars, it can, like I said, it can be very, very misleading. And like I said, in a chapter of what's so relevant right now is St. Matthew chapter 24, about not worrying about when the end times is actually going to be. You shouldn't be worried about all of that. Because at the end of the day, you can find proof of all these constellations and all of that that's written. But like I said, all of those things like are outside of yourself rather than you searching what's going on within. Because you can find proof of like all of those things, but truly, what does that mean when it's all said and done? What does that mean? Because I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. I understand. A lot of things that deter people away, to be quite honest, is that it's not necessarily the Bible itself. Um, but ultimately, a lot of people have been led astray based off of how other people have been taught the word of God, and it has turned people away. You know, if I'm telling you on no return date, who does that make me? Yeah, who does that make you? And when is the return date? Because I'm pretty sure we just went through something real crazy. Um, I think like at the end of September when somebody said the rapture was going to happen on like the 20th, the 23rd or something, and mad people went nuts and sold their stuff and everything because they believe this dude. That was like kind of crazy. But this is the thing. We have to honestly, as crazy as this sound, be open to conversations like this and treat them with great patience instead of um letting it get to us in any sort of way, but like having the utmost patience, to be quite honest. Or don't say and could place over only throne Satan could place over God is fatherhood. Why Jesus said he has to be childlike to enter heaven. No child will be responsible for their father and mother's deaths. All right, let's see. Let's see here. Let's see here. Actually, we're gonna go. We're gonna go to something that makes a little bit more. Make a little bit more sense. I don't mind the comments at all. I don't mind the comments. That's funny. I put the KGB back, but I got something else for you. Perfect peace to you as well. Perfect peace to you. Have a good night. So yeah, listen up. Abrahamic faith is about Abraham sacrificing Isaac, Ishmael to demonstrate bond between man and father was not. That's amazing. I don't know where you get this stuff from. Where do you get this stuff from? So this is something I'm going to read to you. Have patience with me. We're going to find it. We're going to find it. The one thing that I find myself, like I said, keep bringing up is chapter 24. And where is it? So this is same with Cain and Abel. Adam didn't train, task, judge, receive, or seek Abel, but it was God. So hear me out. Going back to this thing with the end times, because kind of like all over the place right now. We're trying to zero in. As he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, "Tell us when will these things be? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?" And Jesus, "See that no one leads you astray. For many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and they will lead many astray. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not alarmed, for this must take place, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be places. All of these are but the beginning of pains. They then will deliver you up to tribulation and put you to death, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many will fall away and betray one another and hate one another, and many false prophets will arise and lead many astray. And because of lawlessness, will be increased. The love of many will, but the one who endures to the end will be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. So no one knows yet. No one knows. We're nowhere near that. Call no man on earth father, for you have one father, and he is in heaven. So let me ask you this: where is heaven? Where is it? Where is heaven located? I'll wait. Where is heaven located? I know because everyone carries my return date on their hands. Heaven and earth intersect at Greenwood and Archer and Tulsa. Where is heaven located? Where is heaven located? What's going on, Logan? Can you answer that simple question? Where is heaven located? If you had anything to say to the world, what would it be? I guess what I'm saying now. It'd be what I'm saying now. No? Thank you for being on this live. Greenwood refers to a burning bush, archer, constellation, or rain. Or can you answer the simple question of where is heaven located? It seems like you can't answer direct questions. I don't know why. Can you answer that? Where is heaven located? Man. All right. Seems like I'm not going to get an answer out of you. But for everybody that's tuning in, what advice do you need? Fabulous. In regards to what? What advice do you need? What an interesting live tonight. Very interesting. What is the advice? Do you have a question to ask? If so, please feel free to ask. What is the question? Can you please answer the simple question of where is heaven located? Where is it? It exists now. Heaven already exists. Where is it located? Answer the question. Pharaoh, answer the question. Where is heaven located? It's the 100th time I asked you. You haven't answered. You're spamming. What? Well, it's been a blast. I'm out of here, people. What a great night. Serve your purpose. Put God first. Love your neighbor like you love yourself. You guys will be just fine. Just fine. Until next time. I'll be on live soon. Until then, I'm out of here. God bless.